What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about my biggest questions going into Mandalorian Season 3. So this is going to directly talk about the ending of Mandalorian Season 2. So if you don't want spoilers, if you haven't seen it yet, turn away now, but I am going to be talking about that ending. Not so much about that, maybe even so much about where all of these shows, these upcoming Disney Star Wars projects are going, and go from there, okay? Really quickly, before I get started, if you guys do like this stuff, make sure, as always, you're subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. If you haven't followed my Twitter yet, Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. You could look it up on Twitter, or the link for it is in the description below. All right, so and it is plural. I probably will get to more than one question, but my biggest question, and definitely something I want to spend a fair amount of time talking about, is where is it going to be centered on, and who's going to be in it? I think those are some really, you could say, like, well, those are pretty obvious questions, but I would say they're pretty big. I'm not super upset with the fact that they're making a ton of Star Wars things. I see a lot of potential failure there. I think that it sounds all good now. Everybody's getting excited. I'm not saying like the Kenobi show or Obi-Wan Kenobi, like that show's going to suck, or Ahsoka's going to suck. I just think having so many shows, having so many series, all this stuff, it could become too much. We could get a quote-unquote, what Kathleen Kennedy even called it, or Mark Hamill even called it, Star Wars fatigue. That's a discussion for a different time. But the general point with that, though, is a lot of these characters are going off, and they're doing their own thing. I don't see Boba Fett being in Mandalorian Season 3 much, if at all. I guess it's possible, especially even the way that they're doing the filming. So we know from what even they've told us that right now, I think John Favreau said this, they're filming the Book of Boba Fett right now. And then right after that, they're going into Mandalorian Season 3. So I guess it's possible for Boba Fett to do his own side fun thing, and then for him to come back for Mandalorian. And the reason I say that, I mean, I do get it. Like, Mandalorian was built on Mando and, the child, right? Grogu. And, I mean, you don't have one of those now, so that's going to be interesting how you do it. And we'll talk about that in a second. But that's really what it was. And now, of course, you had these characters come, you had these characters go. I think we've all settled kind of into a routine with this franchise right now where it's like, yeah, some characters may only be in one episode a season. Some characters may be in 2 or 3. Some characters may just be there to kind of start their own thing, right? Like Ahsoka. So, like, we're seeing what Mandalorian kind of is. At the same time, you can't just use it, I would say, as like a launch pad for other properties. And I think that's something you do have to be a little careful of, that they did go kind of crazy. In fact, that's literally what Season 2 kind of was all about. If the Luke Skywalker show is real, if that show really is being developed, it basically started that. If the Book of Boba Fett is real, it started that because it brought Boba Fett back. Ahsoka, it started that. That's 3 already. The New Republic one with possibly Cara Dune, right? That is a 4th one. So I mean, you just keep all these characters could potentially be going off into their own thing. Who's left? So I guess that's to me, again, the biggest question, that you have Boba Fett, he could potentially be gone. Cara Dune, I think she makes a really good fit with this show. I think she's actually a really great character. I think the relationship she's kind of formed with Mando makes a lot of sense. Could she do both? Could Boba Fett do both? Definitely, I guess, possible. Grogu, that's a tough one. We'll talk about that in a second. And then finally, Bo-Katan. I think that is the answer. I think there's now, okay, they announced like 500 shows at Disney Investor Day. They didn't announce the Book of Boba Fett, but that was because they were saving it for, obviously, when The Mandalorian ended, you would get that kind of, not teaser, but you would get basically the confirmation it was happening. Still, there's nowhere out there that there is a Bo-Katan show happening. Now, there probably should be, but there isn't. So the question is, are they holding off on it and doing these other 10, 12 shows first and then doing Bo-Katan? That would be kind of rough. I don't really know why you would do that. Or is she just going to play a super integral part of The Mandalorian Season 3? That's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. So I would say main characters going forward is Mando and Bo-Katan as like your 2 leads. I think that's fine. I think that's fair. That kind of sets up the next couple questions, and we can go from there. Question number 2, Grogu. What in God's name is going to happen there? Well, it's something that a lot of people have pitched, I think, already. Like, I don't watch Star Wars Theory, like, watch his videos, but I see, his thumbnails pop up in the recommend and stuff like that. I do watch him from time to time. He's obviously talked about a lot of different stuff like Bo-Katan and stuff like that. The Grogu thing is tough because, like, either, and people said it the day, Mando season 2 finale happened. It's like, okay, only a few things can happen. He's either not at the Jedi Temple when Kylo kills everyone, or he is and Kylo kills him. And that's rough, and that's not something we want to see, because it just doesn't, I don't think it would float very well with the Star Wars fans, right? So I think, and by the way, also Mando promising that he would see Grogu again, I think was 100% that kind of link. But the thing is this, we all want them back together. I want them back together. However, that ending, that one, like the moment, when he's talking to him, when he takes off his mask, and that entire thing, that in all reality was I do agree with people when they say this. That was the best part of that episode. It wasn't the fight with Moff Gideon. It wasn't Luke destroying everybody, which was absolutely incredible and like an iconic moment in Luke's, life, that we've ever seen. Like, those were obviously amazing. But that moment, the father and son connection, was incredible, and probably brought tears to the eyes of many, many people. Okay, so while I want them to return, you do have to watch out about bringing them back together. And season 3 can't start with Luke being like, "Yeah, I can't train him," or "Yeah, there's this. I have this feeling that there's somebody out there," because you can go down. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Grogu's blood is most likely being used to make Snoke, okay? So, like, do they do that immediately so that Luke has to kind of sense it and find, and, what's got to happen to get Grogu back to Mando? What? Does Mando go to Luke's Jedi Temple and just bring him back and says, like, I can't live without him? That would kind of be anticlimactic, because, like, he was very conflicted, but he definitely felt like, okay, this is the right thing to do. Like, he's going to teach you. Staying with me just isn't the right thing to do. So going immediately and getting him saying, "No, I was wrong. Like, I tricked you." Like, that's not right. But similarly, Luke just kind of handing Grogu back over to Mando like a few episodes into season 3 and saying, like, "Okay, he's yours. Like, I have something on my own I need to do. You need to watch the kid." It's like, I don't know, that, while maybe one of those things actually ends up happening, it just doesn't seem right. Guys, I'm not saying, by the way, like, keep Grogu out forever. I think if they do that Luke show, he would be in it. But also, I do think he would appear again in Mandalorian. I don't know if it'd be season 3. I don't know if it'd be season 4. I don't know if there'd be a time skip for season 3, maybe, or season 4 in general. Maybe that solves a lot of the issues if you jump, like, 5-10 years. I don't know. I mean, that is definitely something to think about. A few other questions, I guess, is Moff Gideon and technically Bo-Katan. So Moff Gideon captured. Now, we know from his actor that he's talked about that we're going to get a lot of story from Moff Gideon and he says seasons 3 and 4. Now, I don't know if he dropped the ball too soon there. I feel like he knows what he's talking about, and he's definitely a respected enough guy where, he says something like that. I feel like you got to believe him. It's not the end for him. While Thrawn is probably ahead of him, that's for Ahsoka to figure out. I don't think Thrawn will ever make his way in The Mandalorian, which maybe sucks to some people. I get it. But like Moff Gideon, for as cool as he was for the majority of it, he was taken out, not relatively easily, but I mean close. It was one fight. He lost and he's captured. You know what I mean? So I think there's definitely more to his character in general. So I do expect that. The whole Snoke thing obviously has a big part to play in that. I respect them for trying to make that work. I feel like it's just a lost cause you should probably stay away from, even though they won't. And then the Bo-Katan stuff. So how much is Mandalore, how much is the Darksaber going to play into season 3? Well, again, like I said in the beginning of the video, depends on who's the main cast, but I feel like Bo-Katan and Mando are the main cast. Now, you've seen those videos floating around, and I agree with them. Like, why in God's name does she refuse it now when she accepted it before? Now, I know some people have said, well, maybe it's because she accepted it before, because we still don't know how she lost it. Like, Moff Gideon has it, or he had it, and then it got taken, but, like, how did he get that? How did he get that? I mean, assumingly, he would have had to beat her, to get it, but they've never said that. But how much he kind of like teases her and teases Mando with like, no, she can't just grab it, she needs to win it. It's like, all right, I mean, you make such a big point of that. I feel like you probably did, because I always kind of assumed that he kind of like swept, like maybe she got attacked by his troop or whatever, and he kind of like swept in and just took it when she wasn't paying attention, or she was knocked out and he took it. I never really assumed that he beat her, but the way he talks does kind of make it seem like he did win it fair and square. And so I mean, we'll have to see if they end up actually showing that. I feel like it would actually be a really cool flashback sequence to see how he got in the first place. But while that is kind of not something that works in canon because, again, she did accept it before. Maybe it's because she did accept it before and then got it taken from her that she's like, well, I need to actually fight for it. I hope it doesn't. I don't think they'll kill any of those characters off like Bo-Katan or Mando. It's just something that I think probably will get resolved. And I guess like the idea of Mandalore in general, I mean, if you want to go the whole season without Grogu, I think you have to lean, again, into Bo-Katan, the Darksaber, making Mandalore like great again, okay? And also Moff Gideon, like him escaping, him becoming more powerful or more of a threat than he was before, which is hard because the reason he was such a threat is because of Grogu. Now without Grogu, he doesn't really have any reason, I guess it's just his stuff with Snoke that's left. So they do have some tough things to do, but I would say even without Grogu, they do still have a couple things to lean into that we'll have to see. We'll have to see how they actually play out over the season. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? What are some of your biggest questions going into Season 3? What do you think, or can you answer some of the questions that I asked? Let me know. Again, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. And again, if you guys are not following me on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. You can find me on Twitter. You can just look me up, or the link for it is in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I am probably, over this holiday time, people have asked me to like rank the Marvel shows, the DC stuff like that that's like coming up. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to also do it with Star Wars. So I'll probably be ranking all of the upcoming Star Wars projects in terms of like what I'm most excited for, and we'll take it from there, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.